Hey everybody, welcome to the PC Perspective Podcast. This is episode 333. Being recorded on January 21st, 2015. I'm Ryan Shrout.
I'm Jeremy Hellstrom.
I'm Josh Walrath.
And I'm Alan Malventano.
Hey, did you know that 333 is my favorite DDR spec?
Your favorite one?
Your favorite one?
The DDR 333. It ran on a 166 bus. Things were all synced together. It was nice.
I see.
Yeah, okay.
That was a while ago.
It's half of 666, but they never advertised 666 memory, did they?
No, it was 667.
Yeah. Think about it.
They didn't want Antichrist memory.
We're doing something really stupid on this episode of the podcast, by the way. If you're on Twitter and you want to be a part of the conversation, as they say in really crappy TV shows and stuff, we want you to send us some comments through Twitter via hashtag JoshTech.
Comments or questions?
Hashtag Josh TEKK. All one word.
Okay.
We're not really taking questions. We're not going to answer anything.
We're
just testing it out to see if it works. So we may bring up some random crap throughout the show, like this.
Like that.
Like this guy named Ryan Shrout says we are live right now. Or I really can't read that from here, so we'll have to fix that. There's a
So at what point are we going to start playing sports on the TV behind you?
We can do that.
Well,
we can do sports betting, and we can have the scoreboard.
We've got the sideline. We've got the tweets popping up. All we need now is, a nice replay of what's going on in the action behind you.
I will replay last week's episode at the beginning and show the highlights, which will be short because there are none.
Yeah.
And
do the Madden screen.
Right.
Yep.
Draw shit all over.
Tell us straight.
We did do that once when Tom was here, when he used a tablet to draw on the tablet.
We've done it a couple times with Tom, actually.
So this is the PC Perspective Podcast. Sometimes we talk about computer hardware. We record the show Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific at PCPer.com/live. And if you want to be a part of the fun, a part of the excitement, and join us when we record the show, you can go to PCPer.com/live. You can go to PCPer.com/subscribe. And all that does is takes you to this little page here that asks for your name and email address. We send out an email whenever we're about to do a live event. Sometimes it's a day before, sometimes it's an hour before. When it's special events, we tend to want to, give you a little bit more heads up. Like, for example, tomorrow, for example, we're going to have a special live stream for an unnamed GeForce GTX product. Nobody will ever guess it. If you're watching this after we recorded it live, by the way, you already know what it is.
Yep.
Tom Petersen will be here. Fan favorite. Good guy. Smart guy. Fun guy.
Where's all the boxes?
Well, we can't show them anyway.
Oh, that's true. We can't. Damn.
We're giving away a lot of graphics cards. And
There's
he's
a
talking about
stack
boxes
of
of graphics cards.
Yes, he's going to come on the show, and he's going to talk about his extensive trip through Europe this last week.
Right.
And he brought pictures.
Slideshow.
As long as he didn't bring illness, I'm okay with that. But we'll be doing that tomorrow.
Well, it was France.
Yeah, I know. Which is Thursday at, what do I have here? Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern on January 22nd. That's Thursday.
Yep.
And that will be at PCPer.com/live. And again, if you want a little reminder about that, go to PCPer.com/subscribe and make sure you sign up for that. We have 3 MSI GeForce GTX graphics cards to give away, 4 EVGA, and 3 ASUS.
Man, I hope they're 480s.
Oh, I hope they're 480s too.
Totally.
What did I just hear beep?
I don't know.
All right, that's weird.
Oh, it's my fire alarm.
That's my pacemaker.
Yeah.
So make sure you're here for that.
Down.
You got to watch live to win those prizes. Sorry for those of you that can't join us, but you can still enjoy the fun after the fact when we post the video on a website or something, probably our own website. So, look, I can't. What does that say? Ponage Hobo?
Look, Mom, I'm on the internet.
Congratulations, hashtag JoshTech. This is working out great.
Ponage
We're gonna do this
Hobo?
every week from now. I'm going to pick some random hashtag.
Is that a play on Fopo Jojo?
It could be both. If you're listening to the audio only version, it may be a little bit less exciting. I'll try to read off the tweets as well.
Will you?
Josh, I won't read that.
No.
That's on the producer for putting that on there. Oh, really? So let's talk about some stuff. Apparently, I missed a link here. Hang on just a second. We're going to talk about a review. Hold on. I lost the page. There it goes. That Maury posted of the Rampage 5 Extreme motherboard. So this is a X79 motherboard. It is the kind of, I guess we consider it the flagship product line from ASUS, the ROG Extreme series. It has a $499 MSRP. That's a $500 motherboard.
Youch.
So you need to be sure that you really want this motherboard if you're going to buy this motherboard. Don't buy this motherboard if you just happen to be building a system.
Right.
Right. They have much less expensive boards that will absolutely run all the functionality you need to run. If you need things like...
yeah, what is that $500 getting you in addition?
Well, you get 802.11 AC 3x3.
Okay.
That's
okay.
kind of nice.
That's actually kind of a pricey add-on.
50, $60, something like that, maybe,
Yeah,
for an add-on card for that. That's actually pretty cool.
Can you even buy a 3x3 desktop card right now?
You can. Asus makes one.
There's
Go.
few and far between.
Yeah, that's kind of rare. It's on this
There's
board.
only like one model that,
Yeah,
of a
you
card.
get obviously you have what they call the exclusive OC socket, which is a slightly different processor socket that's going to do more pins and special stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Right. They have upgraded alloy chokes, the power stage, that's POWIR stage stuff in this, 10K black metallic caps. They have all kinds of overclocking capabilities, safe boot, retry, LN2 mode, slow mode, which, that's when you want to slow things
Probably
down.
when you go normal speed, they just consider that slow.
Well, I think it actually is for like if your
Even
clocks
lower.
are too high, and it's stuff that I don't deal in the LN2 stuff, so it's hard for me to really comment on it.
So this is one of those boards you get to squeeze that last like 5% of an overclock out of something.
Maybe, yeah. If you're just doing like
know.
standard water cooling or air cooling, yes. If you're doing
I guess.
LN2, then it's you're not talking about 5%.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like this might be kind of like an LN2-ish kind of
Correct.
board, right?
It also, it has other features. It's got 4-way SLI and Crossfire support. It's got Supreme FX 2014. So Sonic Studio, Sonic Soundstage. Is that ELNA premium audio caps there?
Okay.
It's got this OC panel, right? So you can do a bunch of reading and tweaking through this like USB device. Oh, I'm showing it to you on this tiny picture. We've got more pictures as we go. It does look badass.
Yeah, it is a nice looking board.
The black and red color scheme is still one of my favorites. 10 USB 3.0 ports on the back,
That's nice.
right? Only 1 gigabit port, which I think is totally fine.
Yeah, but
I don't
for
understand the
$500,
obsession with 2.
know-
Like nobody's going to buy this motherboard and then make that machine a router, right?
it's true.
Like what do you need that for? Unless you're direct connecting some external storage or something like that.
That's
the only thing
that's what I would use it for, like iSCSI connected.
Yeah. So it does have a PCI Express 3.0 by 4 M.2 slot on it, 2 SATA Express, 802.11 AC Wi-Fi, as we talked about. It is, in terms of feature set, pretty much unrivaled. The CMOS battery looks like it's in a great place, except if you're running SLI or Crossfire, so there's that. Well, no, if you're running 2, you do 1 here and 1 here, so it would cover up that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Right.
Even dual.
Yep. Damn it. Damn it. You could. You gotta have a specific case to run a card in that bottom slot, I think, too. You gotta make sure you have enough expansion ports for
Now,
it.
what's that extra power port
No,
there?
it's Molex. Easy
No,
easy
it's for the
power.
SLI
Yeah.
or Crossfire, whatever you're doing. You need extra power for the lower slots.
Wouldn't we rather have like SATA power at this point? There.
Yeah.
I guess SATA power can't send as much juice as Molex. Didn't we decide that at one point?
I don't
Really?
think
I thought we
decided
had
that. I think
decided
that's just
it.
your theory.
I think it can,
I
but
think
it
it's
spreads
the
it
same.
over multiple pins.
Okay.
Because think of the Molex to SATA connectors. They work fine.
They do, yes.
Yeah.
But I've never put a high strain on a Molex connector in that capacity. So
That's
I don't
true.
If you know what I mean.
If you know what I'm saying. Lots of SATA ports. So 10, was that? Yeah, 10 total. No, 2, 4, 8, 10, 12 total SATA ports back there. I can add. 4 of which come from the SATA Express portion there. There's your M.2 SATA port, full, all 3 lengths supported.
Sweet.
8 DIMM slots, as you would expect. Lots of fan headers, lots of buttons, lots of stuff. That one looks like it'd be difficult to get to. That fan header right there. Here's your DIMM slots, and here's a PCI Express slot, your primary PCI Express slot. You need to plug that fan in first.
Pretty
I would
much.
guess.
Is that the CPU fan? Probably?
No, it's chassis fan 3.
Oh, great.
But it would be difficult to get to right there. So keep that in mind. Lots of stuff here. Let's see what I want to show a picture of the, what's that called? The OC module that they have there. Where'd it go? Of course, we've got the cooler pictures that Maury usually does. Yes, it fits.
It actually looks appropriate with this board.
At least it's a bigger board this time.
True. That's true.
Did he just scroll up?
Yep.
Did he just put the board on a lazy Susan and then rotate while taking pictures?
Probably.
That one.
No, he rotated himself. He put himself on the lazy Susan and went around.
Yes.
There's
It's a
your
pretty impressive
3x3
motherboard.
antenna. There's some temperature headers. You've got the what is that for? That's the
Backplate?
change the backplate out.
Yep.
Why would you do that? I forgot. What's the?
I
knew why.
Yeah, does it allow you to use older or
Different coolers.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, it was on the third page. So on the OC panel, you get this little device here, which can either fit inside a 5 or 3.5 inch bay, I think, or it sits on your desktop, like physically on your desk, like that.
Huh.
And it has readouts and it has controls, right? So you can do temperature monitoring, you can do clock monitoring, or you can change clocks and change voltages, and anything you can change in Windows, you can change in this. I think it actually has BIOS level control at a certain point as well. So you can see there, that's how it installs into a 3.5 inch
Does
bay.
it just slide in and you can like slide it out? Because there's buttons there that.
No, I think because there's a connection on the bottom.
Oh.
It's not wireless. There's the headers
I think
are down there.
it fits directly right out of your case, so you can still have access.
Okay.
Correct. So so it does fit in a 5.25 inch bay, but here's the adapter for it, right?
Yeah.
And that's what.
So when you slap it in, you can then say, "Take it all."
It looks really cool, and so and actually it has.
It's got a decent amount of logic.
It has like fan headers and stuff on it, right?
Wait,
and you
what?
can jump
Holy crap!
It's got a lot of functionality there. It's a pretty neat little device, and this is
comes with
voltage
a $500
monitoring points.
motherboard.
What's that?
Yeah.
Comes with a $500 motherboard.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you can see Maury at use with said device.
Oh wow!
on a
Look at that.
system.
Oh,
30
that's
degrees
nice.
C, RPM 4200, 125 base clock. Boom. That's pretty cool. It's a neat
That's
neat
doing a lot
thing.
of stuff. Yeah, I guess that makes up for the price.
So if you want to see, benchmarks are boring in motherboards these days.
Does it tell you when your wife is cheating on you?
It displays it. It flashes it. You got to recognize the icon though.
Yeah.
It's specific. #JoshTech. So overclocking did very well. Benchmarks did very well. Obviously, a ton of features.
Yeah.
And software, and their Windows-based software is great. Their UEFI is great.
So he was
They do a
doing
fantastic
He was
job.
doing water cooling there. How was he able to get like more of an overclock?
I don't know. Let's see what he got here. He was able to hit 4.5 or 4.499 gigahertz.
Yeah.
Stability testing over 4 hours. Yeah. I think that's kind of right in line with where you're at. I really think at this point, unless you're going crazy with stuff,
Yeah.
the processor is our limiting factor here. You
Yeah.
know, the processor we have is going to do the overclocks that it's going to do, and every motherboard is going to be able to do that, I believe.
Yeah. I mean, even the lower end boards these days tend to have decent power. You know, just handling.
Luckily for those that are interested, you can get this for only $474 on Amazon.
Still a
So
bargain.
it's pretty much a bargain. The only weaknesses are the shared usage between PCIe ports and integrated device ports. So if you fill all 4 lanes, apparently,
Yeah. Then you don't have anything
then
left.
you lose some USB 3.0.
Slots,
Oh,
not
really?
lanes.
Sorry, if you fill all the slots. Yeah, if you fill all the
You lose
PCIe.
some USB. What else do you lose?
I don't know.
Maybe the SATA Express.
Might be SATA
maybe.
Express or M.2. Those are only the 2 things that could be optional.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I actually really like that idea, because if you're only using 1 or 2, then you have access to all this other capability. But if you're the kind of person who wants to use 4, well, you're going to lose some of that capability. As long as it is well documented in the manual,
Yeah.
then I'm fine with that.
And this is, so refresh my memory, is this that board that can use the different types of CPUs with different numbers of lanes, or no?
Yes.
Yeah, it can.
Yep.
Correct.
So even with the CPU with 40 lanes,
I
Yeah,
think you would still
because-
lose.
still sacrificing.
Because
Because you're doing 8, 8, 8, 8.
except-
Except
16
you can't
GPUs.
sacrifice the M.2 at that point. The M.2 is permanent on
Oh,
the 40
okay.
lane.
Okay.
Okay.
But you lose like that 4th PCI slot. She just don't work.
You mean with
I believe is what it
the
said.
lower PCI lane part, right?
Yeah.
That's
They're at the very bottom.
Yeah, yeah. I'm talking the
28.
higher. I'm talking if you
28
buy the
is the
higher
lower.
one.
The 40 is the higher.
So 40 is not enough to drive.
No, 40 would be. 28 would not.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Just checking there.
It is more complicated because of the differing PCIe link count on processors.
Yeah. I mean, if you're
So-
gonna be running quad SLI, you're probably gonna buy that CPU that has the 40 lanes. I mean, just
If you're
saying.
buying a $500 motherboard,
Yeah.
You should buy at
chances are you
least
should
a
buy a
$500
$1,000 processor. Right?
Buy the $500 CPU.
Well, wait. Is it $1,000 though?
The Extreme Edition is sure.
The
That's what
Extreme
Extreme Edition means. It
I
translates
mean,
from French
just
to
like
$1,000.
what's the reasonable like 40 lane?
500.
There's
it's
like
like
5 something,
500,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
That doesn't really translate to French, by the way. I was in Montreal.
Je suis Extreme Edition.
I did a lot of "Como se dice?"
Como se dice?
Sir, that's Spanish. Yeah.
Hey, they're all romantic languages, so shut it.
I tell you what, Jeremy. I was rolling in dough up there, though. The conversion rate.
Oh, hell yeah.
Way in my favor. Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's even worse now. We're down to like 81 cents.
Yeah, like
but,
the bar bill
You
was
were
like-
still 85 or so.
A bar bill was like $60. Like that's like $4 American. This is amazing. I can't believe I drank all day for that.
It's like being in Taiwan.
I did also in a kind of a drunken shopping thing. Almost bought one of those Canada Goose. Is that what it is? Jackets.
Oh yeah.
Canadian Goose
really?
jackets.
But it was expensive.
$700.
Yeah, they're for tourists.
They're for tourists?
No, I saw all the locals wearing them. That's how I figured out. I was like, what? All these locals seem way warmer than me because it's minus 12.
Yeah.
And they're all wearing this specific jacket with this logo.
They're wearing
right?
geese.
They're wearing.
Yep, they're tourists because the natives would have been in a t-shirt, maybe a toque.
No.
Come on.
Yeah.
I saw. Now, when it was 30, I saw that. Like the next day, it went from minus 12 to 30, but definitely not
everybody
when it was
was-
minus
yeah.
12 because it was windy. It was bad. Anyway, that's unrelated to the ASUS motherboard, but it's got a gold award, so go check out that review. Next up, Samsung T1 portable SSD.
Does it go 1.5 megabits per second? Like a T1?
Yeah, that's what the T1 stands for.
Way higher than 1.5 megabits a second.
So this is dumb. Take that.
Way, way, way higher.
So this is
you don't
this
like
is
the- you don't
the.
like the sexy
it just
cable?
makes it look dumb.
Oh, okay.
This is a 500 gig SSD. Is that what I'm looking at?
That one is. They make
Okay.
it in 250 and a terabyte as well.
It's the same size, right?
Same exact size.
So what is it? I mean, it's a. What am I looking at?
So what it actually is a MSATA 850 Evo, which is not for sale yet.
It is if I break this open.
Well, yeah, kinda. But that's what it is, and a ASMedia, like a higher end ASMedia USB 3 to SATA bridge.
Okay.
So it can handle QDEPs. It could do UASP QDEPs like higher than 4. Like remember we've tested other things in the past with like J Micron chip in it, and like it couldn't really scale that high on Q depth. That
This has no problem.
Scales like way up there. Yeah.
Can I make a comment? This is the only cable it comes with, right?
True. Yes.
So this is a USB 3.0 drive, and this cable. That's it.
That's it.
That's dumb.
What do you want?
A longer cable.
But it's meant for travel.
Don't all of us.
And it's meant for like to be sitting on the desk next to the laptop. What do you want? Like a 10-foot cable so it could, you could
Like
just
a
have cable?
3-foot cable or
No, that
something.
would be
He wants an
terrible.
extension he can stick on the end to make it look bigger.
Oh,
Yeah, that would help too.
you just want your thing to be bigger.
I want it to look bigger when I
get it.
waggle it around, right?
I see.
Hashtag Josh Tech.
Jokes.
But it's like it weighs like a gram.
Yeah, it kind of weighs like nothing.
It weighs like basically nothing. Like, yeah, it's really light.
Performance is good?
Performance is really good.
Oh, here's a picture of the inside, by the way. So this
Yeah,
is the
that's everything taken apart.
M.2, and then what? This is like just a bridge controller. Like it basically goes M.2 to USB 3 on this side.
Yep.
And then this
And
is the controller.
I really like that they did that because there have been plenty other, like remember the OCZ external drive that you broke the USB 3 port on?
Correct.
Like you
Many
can't-
years ago,
Like
yes.
you can't get to that, right?
The data's
If you
gone.
owned that, you'd
Right.
have to either be like really good at soldering or willing to take the thing apart or something like, or if you RMA it, well, they're not going to copy the data over for you when
More
they give you the
than
new one.
likely not, yeah.
No. So I like that one, say something happens to that port on it or the bridge chip itself just decides to go, basically anything that fails other than the MSATA device itself, you're still going to be able to get your stuff back, right?
Well, yeah, you have to have an M.2 port on something, or you have like this
yeah, an interposer
card
right?
here.
But you
right?
can get those
Something
on
you can
eBay
buy.
for like $10. You know,
Right.
I mean, it's
Oh,
still
God, yeah.
at least possible, right? So I
Yep.
like
That's
it
good.
when there's an external drive form factor and you can still get to the thing
So
that's
what's
in there, right?
What's the software trick with this? There's like an encryption software thing.
So all right, so the 850, actually, even all the way back to the 840, their controllers are capable of doing crypto.
Sure.
Right. It's just it's not something people turn on. People probably should, but they don't. Right.
Nah.
They support Opal out of the box, all these different kinds of encryption standards. The kind where you can, basically all the data is encrypted on the drive, kind of like what SandForce used to do. Right.
Sure.
That was part of their thing. But with the method that is employed here through this firmware is it's basically encrypting everything all the time. It's just transparent to you. So even if the drive is unlocked per their software where you don't have to type in a passphrase to get to it, it's still encrypted.
Right,
but it's completely transparent to you, right? You have no idea because it's all doing it through hardware. Drive goes full speed.
Okay.
That sort of thing. If you put a passphrase on it, it does some kind of thing within its firmware to protect the data so that when next time you plug it in, all you see is like a 120 meg or something partition shows up with the software on it in order to have something like a front end so that you can unlock it.
Okay.
Right. So you need something to unlock the drive. Right. You need some place to type in a password.
Right.
Right.
Is that what this says?
So it's just a really low footprint front end thing. It installs really quickly.
So you plug this in the first time, you get only that. You get
only this partition,
125 meg partition.
Yep.
That has this one piece of software on it.
Yep. Well, there's two
That's only
pieces. There's
6
one for
megs.
Windows and one for Mac.
Okay.
Sitting in there, right?
You install it.
What I think is cool though is they give you a little bit more room than you need. Like the software only takes like 10 meg total or something. So you have like 100 meg of space. You could put like what I would do is I would put like a little README file in there in case if lost.
Like a 9 megabyte README file.
Or 90 if you want.
Right.
You know.
Ooh, a 90 megabyte README file.
Yeah, I mean you've got room, right?
Got space.
So you could
Go for
basically
it.
you could put stuff there. It's kind of enough room. Like say you want to give a Word file to somebody. With that, you don't want to do the unlock and everything. They give you some room, like you could fit like a PowerPoint or something in there, right?
I mean, it's a 500 gig drive. If that was the intent, maybe you'd give them 1 gig or 2 gigs.
Maybe
instead.
I don't know, but there was
or maybe make that configurable
enough for it to be work. I just like that it wasn't a read-only volume.
Yeah, okay,
right.
Sure, fair enough.
And it wasn't like these are the only 2 pieces of software on there, right? So you could put a little. I would personally put a little README in there, and if found, call this number.
Burn immediately.
Or
whatever.
Happy birthday because you just got a really sweet, expensive drive for free.
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, you can't unlock it without going through Samsung. Like, if you don't have the password, you have to go through them, and there's some kind of procedure that you have to do.
Or that guy at the store in the shopping plaza that fixes my iPhones.
I don't think he's really going to be able to do it.
He'll figure it out. Hashtag Josh Tech.
So where all that unlocking happens, where all the unlocking happens actually has nothing to do with the as media or the bridge process. It's all within
the controller
of the SSD itself, right? So it's like their own modified firmware that they put on that 850 Evo.
Cool.
So in that respect, it's not an off-the-shelf.
So once you have that
Evo.
installed, and then you just have access to the 500 gig partition.
Once you have that installed,
is the other section hidden now?
Yeah. So it actually. You type in the password, you hit enter, and that partition immediately dismounts and is replaced with the 500 gig.
Okay.
Right? Or whatever the capacity is. So it's pretty seamless in that regard. It's like probably the easiest way you can do it.
You can disable that if you want.
Yeah, you can turn off
encryption.
If you turn off encryption, well, no, it's still encrypted, but it's just not password protected.
Oh,
right.
Okay.
So it does not. You don't lose your data. Right?
So I could plug it in and give it to anybody, and they'd be able to read it without.
Yeah, you can turn that off, and then it just doesn't even show you that initial partition when you plug it in. It acts just like a regular external drive with nothing, no protection turned on, right? And the performance is real good. We saw pretty good speeds, probably the fastest speeds we've seen.
We saw like 395 read, 330 write.
Yep, and that was just with standard Microsoft. The Microsoft Inbox driver, which is just what comes with Windows 8.1. Right.
And then in Addo, we got up to like 461 read and 435 write.
Yep. And you can hit higher speeds than just regular Windows sequentials if you go as far as install the Intel special USB 3 driver, like their own.
We should do that.
It doesn't like our test bed for some reason. That Intel driver is kind of picky. That's why I typically will just test with the standard Microsoft driver.
Well, that's cool. And pricing
Good
wise,
thing you don't have any extra hardware over there to make a new Intel test bed just for this test.
Yeah, it takes
no.
too much time.
Yeah, sorry. It's
So
terrible.
the 250 gig variant is $79, 500 gig, $299, 1 terabyte, $599.
Yep. And that's
okay.
They had higher prices when they were talking about launching this just a few weeks ago.
Right.
And then they've
Those are
come
pre-order
down already.
prices here on Amazon, by
Yep.
the way, that we're actually looking at. So, I mean, that's
if-
that turn into? It turns into 60 cents a gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, you're paying a little bit of a premium because it's like an external.
My only problem with this is that I'm going to lose this.
You think?
This would go in my backpack and would like come out when I pulled out my keys in the parking garage or something. And
Oh, so you're saying it's too light?
it's too light. Maybe, I mean, yeah.
Because like you used that Corsair
maybe
one
it's
for a little while, right?
Yeah.
That really fast USB.
This
3.
actually is lighter than that.
Oh, it's way lighter.
Yeah, it's like...
Yeah.
Just glue like a little lead brick to it.
Just glue a lead
Yeah.
weight to it.
Open
is
up
a
the
good
case,
idea.
and there's a little bit of empty space in there, and you just put like lead in there.
Yeah. All right, well,
know.
that's cool. Do we know when it's actually shipping now that...
I think aren't they already like?
It's on pre-order on Amazon. It
Oh.
says ships 1 to 2 months. That's probably
It should
longer
be-
than it should be.
It should be sooner
But-
than
All right.
And
That's-
how much does it cost again?
The 500 gig version is $299.
that. Yeah, $299.
That's better.
It's better. No,
Yeah.
it's actually the same price, the same 60 cents.
I mean,
And the 250 gig is 72 cents, so paying a little bit more there. So that is the Samsung T1 Portable USB 3 external SSD. Don't forget, everybody, we are hashtagging Josh Tech during tonight's recording, and we're showing
wait,
your
what?
tweets live on the stream here. We have one from Vin Stone up there now. I can't really read it from this far away. We're going to have to get a different shot
It
there.
says Josh Tech ate my baby.
Oh, no, that's bad news for you. Sorry, Josh, you should apologize.
I've replaced the dingoes.
Yeah.
No, that fits. That
I
fits.
see.
Yeah.
Sebastian posted another review up of a updated version of the ECS LIVA X. God, I don't know how to pronounce that word. LIVA. I'm going to go with LIVA. LIVA? Can't be LIVA, right?
I think LIVA sounds appropriate.
So this is a mini PC. This is an upgrade to the last one. So here is a shot of the new LIVA X.
That is
And
small.
it is a Bay Trail M or Bay Trail I guess. There are two options here. Machine that has 2 or 4 gigs of DDR3 and M SATA slot for your storage, for SSD storage. But it does include 64 or 32 gigs of eMMC storage as well, which is nice. You've got audio, you've got gigabit Ethernet, you've got a USB 3 port and 2 USB 2 ports, HDMI and VGA, Wi-Fi 802.11n, Bluetooth 4, and a power brick that accepts 12 volts, 3 amps. So almost USB brick powered.
Yeah,
No, that would be 5 volts, 2 amps. I don't know. What I was
right.
thinking.
It's
Yeah.
12 volts, 3 amps.
That's like the turbocharger for my phone. Almost.
Well, I mean, with that much, it should be able to give you full power out of the USB 3 port as well.
Yep. So this is it's very similar to what we had before, right? So the one on the left is the original LIVA.
I keep thinking that's LIVA.
It's gotta be
It's
LIVA.
LIVA.
Yeah.
And then this is the new LIVA X. So it's shorter, but it is a little bit taller and wider. So it's a slightly larger device, but it offers much of the same functionality, right? So if we tear open the inside, you can see there's our memory. Or is that the eMMC? No, it's got to be the memory there.
So the heatsink is the top half.
Yes, which is cool.
Interesting. Yeah.
Right, like it's built into the structure of the device.
Yeah.
This is very much in line with kind of like, hey, Intel's pushing a build a NUC style device.
Yeah.
Right, now this is using Bay Trail and not Core i3 or.
But there are Bay Trail Nooks.
Yeah, there were Bay Trail Nooks.
Oh, that's right, there were, weren't there?
We saw them
Okay.
at,
Yeah,
CES,
yeah.
we saw a few.
No, well, the ones that are coming out in the next coming weeks are Broadwell based.
Yeah.
Not Bay Trail. So performance on this, eMMC storage, the 64 gig here is actually okay. 163 by 112 write speed or read versus write speeds in megabytes per second. Networking
Yeah.
performance seemed good. Video playback. Sebastian does point out that the original LIVA performance, the biggest challenge was playback of HD content through Flash, and that doesn't change with this one.
Okay.
Right. HD playback through a video player was fine,
Right.
but through Flash, not so much.
What specifically? I mean, is YouTube still using Flash?
Yeah.
It's not using HTML5.
No, not by default.
Oh,
You can.
you have to opt in.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. But he says even 720p videos on YouTube produce choppy video with obvious drop frames. 1080p Flash represents a true worst case scenario and is basically unwatchable.
Huh.
When switching to YouTube, the HTML5 player, suddenly HD playback was smooth, and so just the deficits of Flash.
I don't get why that's not just like the default anymore now. Like, why wouldn't you just want HTML5 over?
Because browsers still have weird issues with codecs and.
I mean, it should just be like if you're browsing YouTube on Chrome, like it should just HTML5 then.
Yeah.
But you see, Flash is integrated into Chrome.
That's true.
So you don't have to update it.
No, I get that.
You don't have to update HTML5.
You just update Chrome twice as frequently.
Exactly.
Power consumption good, 9.3 watts under load and 4.8 watts at idle. So that's okay. That's acceptable.
Yeah.
He did run Ubuntu on this as well as Windows. He used Windows 8.1 for all the testing, as that is the OS officially supported by the LIVA out of the box. But they did add Linux support this time as well. And here he shows the Visa mount on the back of a TV.
Hey, that's pretty cool.
Hey.
It's pretty nice. It is, let's see, it's a little bit higher than the original. The base model is $209 compared to the original LIVA's $179 price point. And the 64 gig capacity, the larger version, is $249. So $250 for this machine seems like a little much. And Sebastian says here, it's hard to rationalize the increase in price once the improvements over the first LIVA are considered, but it's still going to make a buying decision much harder. For $30, ECS has replaced the SoC with the next incremental model up, increased DDR3 memory, added a USB 2.0 port, and added a Visa wall mount. For $30, that doesn't seem too bad.
No.
But the total price
it is $30 more,
is kind of, figured out.
Yeah, but what if you're already using your Visa wall mount to actually wall mount it? Your TV.
Then you can't.
Gaff tape.
Yep. Get out the duct tape.
Tape it up there.
It doesn't weigh
Just
anything. It's
use some
not gonna-
spit and slap it on real hard.
Yep.
Works for me.
Perfect. Hashtag Josh Tech. So I guess that's our primary reviews for the week. We did have Alexa was here on the show, and she's just listening to me now. Alexa, stop. We did have her.
Have a time.
She did. She was on the show. We fired her. If you want to know why, if you follow me on Twitter, we posted a video of her inability to curse correctly.
Yeah. She beeps herself.
She beeps herself when we try to get her to down. Apparently, there's a podcast that has the word shit in it, and when she reads it back to you, it's beep.
Yeah, it's
actually
beeps,
really funny.
It beeps just the center section of
Just
the word.
the H and the
like
I,
she says
not the S or
S,
the T.
and then it's like. Neat.
Yeah. I did post a little story as well as my video with the Amazon Echo overview, and everything I said on last week's podcast is basically the same there, right? It's a really cool device. It's only $99 if you're a Prime member, and for that, it's kind of maybe something neat to play around with.
We've been using it a lot.
I've been using it to play music while I'm here because I move between lots of different locations in the office, depending on if I'm writing or testing or sitting over here.
And then wherever you're sitting, bad track comes on you don't want to hear.
Yeah, you don't have to get up.
Tell it
do
next.
You don't have to have the remote with you. You can just yell across the room. You don't really have to yell, but you just talk across the room, and it seems to work.
Yep.
As compared to just yell at the intern to make him turn the channel.
That's what we used to do.
Sometimes he's not here.
Yeah, true.
So,
Yeah.
it's bullcrap, I know, but
And he's bathing in warm mineral oil. So.
Yes. Backstrokes.
I still think this would be a better option from somebody else like Google, right, or Apple. If you're in the Apple ecosystem,
just wish there was more
having
integration with the
access to
thing.
all that. Yeah. But it's a neat little device. I think, Ken, you got your invitation today to buy one, and you actually were going through the process, and it said the ship date was when?
June to July.
June to July is when the back order is currently at.
Holy crap.
Does Alan not listen to anything?
He doesn't.
that goes on in
He
the
literally
office?
sits 6 feet from you, and he never hears anything
I don't
we
hear
say.
it. That just
He doesn't hear himself over the crunching of McDonald's food.
it's true.
It's probably true. Alexa, You're fired. No, she was not happy about that. Moving right along, AMD Carrizo rumors, otherwise known as chorizo.
There's no H in that.
Yeah, but I think that would be a better name because it's tasty. Yeah.
I see.
So apparently they show 2x performance of Kaveri, 3x Intel Iris Pro. Josh, any thoughts on this? We didn't really have any performance stuff when we were at CES, but
no, and we've got to remember a couple of things. One, these are going to be 15 to 35 watt TDP parts. So we're not going to expect, big desktop type performance. Two, they're supposedly using a slightly more advanced, higher performance 28 nanometer process from Global Foundries for these products. And then it's GCN 1.2 part that we believe. So there's going to be some increases in efficiency. But I'm real curious about where they're going to clock it. I mean, they're if we look at Kaveri, the 7850, it was clocked pretty low. I think 720 megahertz, and you didn't increase TDPs all that much by going up to 800, 900, and you can overclock it easily to 1 gigahertz and gain some pretty nice performance. So it seems like in between efficiency in the redesign, as well as slightly better process technology, and then being able to push those GPU clocks up, we're going to see some performance increases. And plus, this is going to be their first HSA 1.0 compliant part, even though Kaveri was supposed to be. Once Kaveri was designed and pushed out, the HSA people all came forward and said, okay, this is what we want the standard to be. Well, sorry, Kaveri, you don't have some of those features, so we're going to pull back those things. But I have no idea if it's going to be actually that much faster. I mean, it's that much faster in the one benchmark that they showed, but we don't know what it's going to be like in 3D games. We don't know what it's going to be like in a lot of other OpenCL or GPU type programs. And certainly we have no idea how fast it is going to be. I just read that Twitter and I'm about to die. I gotta keep going.
At least they didn't say you have the best chorizo.
This is correct. We don't know what the excavator core is going to be like. I mean, AMD says it's far more efficient at what it does, but we have no idea if we're going to see a pretty decent sized IPC advantage, or if they just make it run as fast, but it doesn't pull as much power. So, I mean, there's just so much we do not know about Carrizo. We're going to find out a lot more in February at the ISSC.
Yep.
And then they're expecting a Q2 release, probably around Computex, where we'll see initial parts. And again, temper your enthusiasm. It's going to be a max TDP of 35 watts. So hopefully AMD will get into some new laptop wins and notebooks and thin and lights and whatever else you want to call it, because they've got a part that fits the thermal constraints. It's battery efficient, and hopefully we'll have decent CPU performance with better than Intel GPU performance.
It will be very interesting to see what that is. Jeremy, what do you know about Fitlet PCs?
Well, I know that they implied that Sebastian's going to be getting one.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah, this thing is a very little cute machine that's perfect for an HTPC. Inside of this little tiny box, which is, as you might expect, also the heatsink, there's an AMD A4 6400T APU, up to 8 gigs of DDR3, which is pretty impressive to fit in a little tiny box like that. For audio, you've got 3.5mm stereo and SPDIF. You got 4 USB 2.0s and a pair of USB 3.0s. 2 HDMI ports, which is kind of neat. For those of you who absolutely have to have 2 Ethernet ports, this is your thing. It's got 2 of them.
Huh.
A couple of different ways of doing storage. I mean, the micro SD if you want. There's an eSATA port. There's a serial port because you can also use it for industrial applications. which can also be handy, or as a network monitoring device. You know, hell, you could plug it into a Cisco router if you really felt like it. MSATA, and it's even got a mini PCIe socket. So it's an impressive little tiny beastie.
Any pricing? 802.11 in.
Those are renders, aren't they?
Is it like a different option that has
call.
the dual Ethernet?
Yes, there's
Okay.
a couple of them. So, I mean, the bare bone one is going to be about $130,
Yeah.
but there is going to be several different types:
they
Fitlet
have
B,
one with-
Fitlet I, Fitlet X.
The Fitlet X has 4 gigabit Ethernet
Yeah, that has
ports.
4 gigabit Ethernet ports. Holy crap.
What
Because the
for?
thing is that yes, it could be an HTPC. Yes, it could also be something you use in a professional environment.
Because I'm going to aggregate those mother scratchers.
Yeah, you could.
I'm going to get a 500 megabytes per second of throughput on those SOBs. And I'm going to love it. I'm going to attach that thing.
Do you think they're just
to,
going to send?
what?
You don't think they'll send Sebastian just
NAS.
a printout of a
NAS.
rendering, do you?
I hope not, but for the first time that and in the LIVA review, it was mentioned that, hey, it would be neat to have one of these, and somebody claiming to at least be from CompuLab suggested that, yeah, they'd like to send us one.
I really thought that this company has existed and that they've sent us a PC like this years ago.
CompuLab?
Yeah, they're Israeli, I believe. Yeah, they're Israeli. They've been around for a
Yeah.
while.
It was
I-
called like the Fit PC, maybe?
Yep, there you go.
Yep.
I remember that. That's
Yeah.
a thing.
So, I mean, they can make stuff.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
no, these aren't like just this new company. And that's the other reason why they've sort of done it in an industrial sense as well.
Right.
Because,
Why don't we just put PF Sense on it, and then you're good, right?
yeah, seriously.
Nice.
You pretty much could, and if you could direct into it with the serial port, you can be playing with your routers directly as well, as long as someone's there to plug it in.
Interesting. There was a big Windows 10 announcement today. I didn't
There
really
was.
get to watch.
I didn't either.
it.
Don't worry, the stream didn't work.
Stream was apparently really
Stream
bad.
was off.
I was writing an article at the time and could be distracted by people with emo haircuts talking to me. So I will listen instead to what Scott's summary of said event was. It's all about Windows 10.
It's too bad it's missing 2/3 of the words due to him just watching the stream. But
Yeah,
what
that's
he
true.
does say is compelling.
By the way, hashtag JoshTech if you have anything interesting to say about Windows 10. I don't know. I'm going to throw that out there. JoshTech. JoshTekk. Tell us what you think about Windows 10. How awesome is it? What's it say? Go Windows 10. Great live show again. Cheers. Thank you, sir. Thank you. So apparently Windows 10 is just going to be free forever. Right?
Yeah, see, that's kind of weird. It's like, okay, so if you upgrade in the first year, then it's free, kind of,
Yep.
basically. But then if you didn't, then what? Like,
I'm guessing you pay a license.
If a machine
then
that
once
currently
you-
runs Windows 7 or Windows 8.1, then that will be a free upgrade if done within the first year.
because they're not supposed to do, like, versions after this. That's
Yeah,
their thing.
I don't really know how that will happen.
They're supposed to just
going into the
continuously
future.
do roll
Yeah,
out.
They said if you're on Windows 10, you won't be abandoned. Like you'll never not be able to get.
Yeah, like
Windows
they're going to continue this. Like this thing is going
I know
to
in the
be
QA
thing
they
that-
talked about, like, they kept calling it software as a service, but then they said our business model is not changing. We're not going to start offering a subscription. So I
Right.
don't really
Yes,
know what
they
that
are.
means.
If you buy a PC, it will have Windows 10 on it because they sold it to the OEM.
What if I still use the same PC?
you will always get the newest version of Windows.
So
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, I
of
don't
Windows
believe
10.
it's one time into perpetuity.
Kind
You
of,
pay
sort
for
of.
it, kind of.
It's,
No.
that's how they're talking.
They're okay, but if that's true, they're basically
I don't
going
think
with
they.
the.
I don't think they ever actually said as a service during this entire
No,
thing.
he definitely used the phrase OS as a service.
Yep.
really.
He definitely did.
Yeah, this is platform as a service.
But where's the subscription price?
That's
well,
the
as
thing.
a service doesn't necessarily mean they have to charge you for it.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't
I guess.
necessitate it.
Yep.
I think what they're depending on is the disposability of PCs and stuff.
I think what they're
right?
going for
so
is
you're not gonna keep this laptop forever. 2 or 3 years down the road, you're gonna buy a new one, and it's just gonna have the latest version of Windows on it. That OEM has paid them to put that on there.
Yeah,
and
that's
how they-
always
yeah.
been their business model.
Yeah, but it's
But-
just
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
They
who
don't-
cares about PC? Because PC has been dying for years, and,
It'll
and
be
what's
dead
the
next
point?
week.
Monetizing that.
yeah.
They don't sell
It'll
many
be an
box
add-on for your
copies of Windows.
Xbox.
So they did announce availability of new preview builds. Users of Windows Phone 8.1 will also be able to see the work in progress. They'll get the access in the next week, quote, and phones will get them in February. It's apparently scheduled for, that's scheduled for Sunday, February 1st, but we'll see. I'm curious. Scott is predicting that the DirectX 12 SDK will be available in the next build. Not specifically mentioned, but because GDC is around the corner in March,
Yep.
that would probably be a good idea.
That makes sense.
They talked about the new web browser Project Spartan a little bit, using a new standards compliant rendering engine. Didn't really say anything else about it. Scott's guessing it's using DX12. So it'll be rad and 3D and to use holograms. Cortana will be in the new version of Windows. So Cortana is the Siri / Google Now.
So there's your microphone you've been waiting for.
I have a Windows all-in-one attached to the wall.
Yep.
That we use as a permanent monitoring thing, and it sucks because I have to like type everything in, and the Windows 8 or the Windows 10 or Windows 8.1 keyboard is dumb. It doesn't do autocorrect. It doesn't have voice recognition.
Right.
So to be able to hit a button and say the note I want to leave for you to get when you come into work or
So
whatever,
that it can
will be an
misinterpret your text, and you can have to use the
Look,
keyboard anyway.
you only have Apple devices. I have Google devices. I'm used to voice stuff working.
Oh.
So
Okay.
that's your guys.
I never use Siri.
Google and Amazon Echo seem to work pretty well.
It's true.
Just depends. We'll see how Cortana does. I've never really used it on a Windows
You've
phone.
already replaced Alexa.
What did I replace it? Oh, with Cortana.
Yeah.
Well, it's not here yet. All Alexa does is make a shopping list, so screw her. So the idea is that you're basically going to have Google Now style functionality of like, is your wife's flight on time?
Yep.
What are your calendar appointments? Kind of like in pop-ups throughout your browser experience. And I think that's a really good idea.
OS, not browser.
I'm sorry, inside
within
your
the
OS.
OS,
It's
yeah.
not a browser-specific thing. And I think that's a really, really good idea. I think the notification systems of phones on a desktop environment make a ton of sense. And I have some of that with Chrome, right? But it's very application-dependent, very plug-in dependent.
Yep.
And having it be kind of a global thing would be nice. But it needs to be able to support... Like, I don't want them to say, well, you got to have a Microsoft Live email account and use Microsoft Live Calendar. You need to use Google Calendar. You need to use Apple Calendars if they let you, if Apple lets them.
Apple won't let them do that.
But you need to be able to integrate
Google.
with all kinds of calendar information and data,
That's
not just
not going to happen.
Microsoft Live
That's
account
not gonna
bullcrap.
happen.
It'll happen.
I think they would have to add Google Calendar support. No, really.
I don't
they
think
would.
Cortana on Windows Phone currently does that. I bet.
I don't know the answer.
It
to that.
might. It
Oh yeah,
might.
but it's because it's a Windows phone.
Yeah.
Can't do anything.
Gaming technology was talked about quite a bit, actually, surprisingly.
Yeah.
It seems like Microsoft actually cares about getting on the PC again to a certain degree. They're talking about DirectX 12. It will be a Windows 10 exclusive. That's what we had always assumed would be the case.
No
They had
surprise
some
there, right?
crazy claims of DirectX 12 uses half the power of DirectX 11. And that's
Half the power for the same frame rate, I would guess.
so.
And they're probably
think
only talking about CPU
that is a
power.
specific case, right? That's going to be a specific use case where
They're probably talking CPU resources
probably.
just to get the
yeah,
for
maybe.
the API calls for DirectX, basically, right? Probably CPU power would be
Yeah,
half.
they showed a future mark demo that had DirectX 12 capability. Were you going to say something, Jeremy?
About which?
About
I was
DirectX
making
12?
a comment earlier, but
Oh,
I didn't think I was going to make any sort of comment about this one.
oh okay. I don't think DirectX 12 is not going to magically make gaming run at half the wattage on a mobile
No,
device.
not half the
or
total wattage, no.
A gaming PC,
No.
but it will improve that. We already know this about DirectX 12. We've been learning about this since last GDC. So there's that. Windows 10 will allow shadow recording for the last 30 seconds of footage from any game. So think of what NVIDIA Shadow Play does with GFE.
Yeah.
But it is a global Windows feature now.
Huh.
Right? Pretty cool.
It's only 30
Will
seconds.
that
only
also
30
work for
seconds,
someone
though.
triggering a blue screen of death?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because in that case, I would actually be impressed.
Captures the blue screen.
Yeah.
So it is, as Ken pointed out there, like Shadow Play will let you go to, what is it, 20 minutes? You can record
Yeah.
a video at one time. This is only 30 seconds. It's very similar to what the Xbox One does, where you can say, Xbox record that, and it will take the last 30 seconds of video and save it as a clip.
Oh, you're saying 30 seconds total.
30 seconds total. Yeah.
That's kind of really
So if there's
limiting.
a cool moment that happens, you can basically say, hey,
Yeah. grab that.
hey, Cortana,
save that.
right? And it will do that.
I thought I read that it only supports. No, it's only games,
Correct.
and I think it only like they have to opt in to supporting it.
Oh, really?
I don't think it's a universal thing.
Huh.
I think I read that today. I could be wrong.
I thought maybe not, but I thought I remember them saying specifically that it'll work with all games, but we'll see. The Xbox One will be able to stream gameplay to a PC in your house. Mm-hmm. Not as many people interested in that probably as going the other way, which
Right.
they did not announce or discuss.
Yeah.
Which probably means it's not going to happen.
And I thought they only talked about 2 games specifically. Like,
No.
Oh, maybe that's what I'm thinking of. That's only supported by certain games.
The streaming to
Yeah.
the PC.
yeah, the streaming was like only Halo and
Yeah, that's it. Sorry.
one
Scott
other
corrected
game.
me.
Okay, so the recording works with everything.
Yeah.
So wait, the ability. So okay, the ability was to take an Xbox One game that you have on your Xbox One in your living room or whatever,
Right.
or your bedroom,
And play it
and
on
if
your
you
PC.
have a PC hooked up someplace, you could play that game on your PC.
Yep.
Why?
Well, okay, that's a good question because you're taking.
Literally no idea why.
Well, I don't know. The console's in a room where
Somebody else is,
somebody's
your wife is
smoking
watching a
weed
show.
and you don't want to go in there, so you go to the
Yeah.
other room and play it. Like, it's still it's a good feature to have. It would be a cooler thing if it were just part of a story that said, "Hey, you can stream your Xbox game anywhere in your house, and you can stream your PC game anywhere in your house."
Yeah, that would be nice.
They did talk about streaming PC games to tablets and stuff. Did they not, or to other PCs?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
I thought they did. I thought they were doing like game stream type capability as well as shadow play type capability. Both things that NVIDIA is probably super excited about.
Well, whatever their capability is, it's very limited compared to what's already out there.
Yeah.
Like from NVIDIA and even AMD too. So
Yeah. And let's not forget the HoloLens, which is Microsoft's play into the world of VR and AR.
Yeah.
This is essentially more AR, augmented reality, as opposed to VR, virtual reality,
Yep.
in that it is a
Transparent
semi-transparent
lens,
thing
yeah.
that then it draws over, and the video shows you like interacting with things that aren't really there, right? So you're like a board game,
Yep.
right? Or
And you know it'll work because it's brought to you by the people that made the Connect.
yeah,
yeah.
but it
saying.
makes sense. Like
They've had enough time to get it right now.
sure. The TV on the wall, like there's a part in the video where he just like stretches it bigger,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? And it's.
I mean,
all,
it's miniaturized Kinect tech in a wireless headset with basically a projector so that it can
that
do
I think.
AR.
So it's not projecting out.
Yeah.
No,
It's projecting onto the lenses.
But like,
I think that's the coolest part is that it's wireless.
yeah, it's
So
like
it can be
completely
tethered to anything. You
self-contained
can
unit.
walk around your house, and I assume it will know where you are in your house if you just move around the house.
I would hope.
Because that's the whole thing is they show the video like he's walking around, and there's like certain things he can like might have a family calendar on a wall, but it's
Yeah.
all virtual.
I mean, this is all conceptual video though. Like none of this was.
Yeah.
It was a
actual-
very nice
Correct.
green screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. They also show him sitting down to watch TV, and a fake dog comes and walks up and sits next to him. It's like, you cannot do that. You can't replace our entire life with a virtual set. I don't know. No information about when it's available or.
Well, no, they said around the launch of Windows 10.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And you said you read initial demos of it, and people were incredibly favorable to it.
Yeah.
People that tried it. I mean, I'll buy it. That's duh. I have
You
an,
bought Alexa.
I have an Amazon Echo, so there you go.
And a Zune.
The Zune was great. You shut your mouth. The Zune was amazing.
I will crawl
Even the
through
10
that
other people
camera.
that bought it have always said that.
He was able to swap songs over Wi-Fi
With those other 10 people.
With those other 10 people.
Never used that feature once, but they were the first place to have a music subscription model.
True.
How'd that work out for them?
Worked out great for me. I just still pay the same. Actually, I paid less now. Than Zune was $15. This is Spotify's like $8. So you can watch if you go to that post, you can go find a replay of that if you want. You can see. I'm sure Microsoft has tons of posts about all the individual features.
Yep.
I'm excited to try it. If it comes out later this week or next week, we'll throw Windows 10 on a machine or two around here. Maybe we'll get Cortana up and running on that if Cortana is integrated in this upcoming version and kind of see how it works.
Yeah.
What does she look like?
Hopefully, she looks just like
a
in the
spinny
Halo
circle.
game.
Nope.
Yeah.
All you get is a spinny circle.
I don't want that. I want.
You want the actual hologram. Like if you were using their little hologram, little that would be right. Ken just got blown away.
Wait, what
just,
am I doing?
Just from that. If you were using their HoloLens thing, right?
And Cortana
you said, "Hey,
skin-tight,
Cortana," and she like,
Tron
and
looking
she's standing on your
suit.
laptop, right? Just
Yeah,
like
see,
in
that's
Halo, right? How she just pop up
on
everywhere
his laptop.
Take all my money.
on your lap.
Cortana,
Top.
where are your clothes?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know what you're going for.
yeah.
Hashtag Josh Tech.
Hashtag Josh Tech.
Yeah. So that's Windows 10. We'll skip over the predictions of Scott because we got to the actual things that happened instead of the predictions. Our last bit of news, Raptr's top PC games of 2014.
Uh-oh.
Guess what, guys?
Dota?
League of Legends is still a lot.
Lol.
We should
WoW,
all
WoW, and Dota.
find other work.
Did not WoW go up?
I think
No.
it did.
Change is nothing.
No, but percentage-wise.
Yeah, I thought
feel
WoW
like it
was
went
lower in the list earlier.
An
No,
expansion
it was
launched.
still number 2. Otherwise, it would
Didn't,
have a
didn't
red
expansion
or green arrow.
launch like in the past couple of months at least?
Last month, I think.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Dota 2, it's amazing to think how popular Dota 2 is, and it's only 6%, while League of Legends is 4 times that.
Yeah.
In terms of
we
gameplay.
should all just find other work.
Dragon Age Inquisition up from 10 to 6. Hearthstone up. Minecraft down. Battlefield 4 still hanging in there.
League of Legends like 20-something%, man. That's just crazy.
Warframe making it back up. Star Wars: The Old Republic is on there again. Still, I
Free to
guess I
play,
should say.
free to play.
I think they had like a content drop recently, or like they're something soon.
The Elder Scrolls Skyrim came from 24th up to 18, making it back inside the top 20.
Ah,
Skyrim mods.
Finally, and dropped out Call of Duty Advanced Warfare
Oh.
and Spider Solitaire. But Call of Duty Advanced Warfare.
how many old ladies were playing
man.
solitaire?
Arma
make
3 broke into the top 20.
with their Radeon driver and Raptr.
Yeah, with the
installed.
Radeon driver Raptor software.
We're actually working on an interview with the Arma devs. It's nice to see Arma 3 making it into the top 20 there. That's it's kind of interesting. Yeah. Okay, so Scott wrote this up. He did say World of Warcraft did gain a small amount, but not a huge
More or less
amount.
doubled.
Yeah. Oh, really? It was at 8
Yeah, it was
last
at
month?
8.53
Okay,
last month. I
that's a
just checked,
sizable.
but it,
That's a sizable jump then.
yeah,
That's a
but
sizable
still ranked 2. So
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's it. Yeah. Okay. No, you're right. At the very top, 8.5 to 15.6. Okay. Thanks for pointing that out. All right. So that's. But now keep in mind that's through Raptr, which is the kind of competition to NVIDIA GeForce Experience, but it does work with NVIDIA and AMD cards. But AMD
Yeah.
has a kind of like a branding partnership with them in that regard. So that is it for the news. We'll get into our hardware software.
You know, it's unfortunate
Yeah. Go ahead. Yes.
that
Please.
I have this new job that does not allow me nearly as much free time because both Intel and AMD announced results,
Oh yes.
and they couldn't be
More
any
different.
different.
You have a quick
Between the
summary
two.
for us, or do you need more time?
Intel made something like 15.3 billion, and they had their largest quarter
That's not
ever,
even
their
a
largest
WhatsApp.
year ever. And that's all with this nice piece of news. Over the entire year, their mobile sector lost 4.2
Jesus
billion.
Christ.
So they lost 4.2 billion in mobile, but still made.
They still made something like 13 billion in net revenue the entire
They're
year.
playing the long game on the mobile thing.
I don't ask.
well, isn't
for
that the
much.
last quarter before they rolled mobile up so that it doesn't report separately anymore?
That sounds like a good idea to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right, they did
well,
do
the
that.
thing,
Yeah.
and here's the interesting thing is that Intel is finally kind of just saying, all right, you know what, we're going to stop giving the discounts and stuff for the mobile, and we're just going to sit with our footprint
No, they're not.
where we're at. Well, who knows? But this is what they say. They say, and we're going to work off that. We're going to release, our cutting edge 14 nanometer processors as soon as we can for the mobile. We're going to give better features, better graphics, all these things and promises. And I think that they're going to do better.
They
there.
have done better.
Yeah, I mean, when you're as low as
But not
they
as
have
good
been,
as
I
they
mean,
would be.
now
Yeah.
don't get me wrong,
You gotta start at
AMD's
0.
mobile is even lower.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
can
You didn't
you
get to
negative?
you didn't get to AMD's numbers.
Not yet, but I will soon.
Okay.
It's bigger than
It's-
2.
Yeah. No, it's not. But anyway,
Wait, 2
to what?
dollars.
But yeah, I mean, Intel is just rolling. I mean, they're mobile, they're enterprise, PC, well, not the mobile, but I'm talking like if you pick up an Ultrabook, a laptop, chances are it's going to have an processor in there. Their graphics have improved immensely over the past 2 years. I mean, I can't even tell you how much better they are. I mean, I could tell you, but in fact, I'm telling you now, but who cares?
Enterprise is fun because they have so little competition that they're just rolling custom Xeons for large corporations now. Like
true.
Amazon. They just launched custom Xeons for Amazon.
Yep.
It's like, sure, why
There you
not?
go.
Throw the
We've got
R&D into it.
We've got the fab capacity. Don't worry about that because, in fact, we're willing to, do some work for you if you're willing to buy the product. So that's cool. But at the same time, we've got AMD, which is not so cool. I mean, they had their best year in a while, and it's like they went from 5.1 billion to 5.3 in 2014. But the last quarter was not great. The revenue was down quite a bit. It was like 1.24 billion, I believe, and that was down from 1.3 the quarter before. And the high points are usually around the 1.5 billion. So their graphics and CPU are not doing great, and some of that can be ascribed to the 970 and 980 products that came out from NVIDIA. The R9 285 just was not able to compete in that same kind of space that perhaps they were hoping to. Their APUs have been slowly going down. I mean, Kaveri, it's a neat product, but it's not for everyone. And Intel has usually products that have better CPU performance and slightly worse GPU performance, but typically at lower TDPs, lower power consumption. OEMs really, really like that stuff. They're not looking for next quarter to be a whole lot better. In fact, they're going to say it's about 15% worse, plus or minus 3%. So they're in a little bit of a pickle. When you look at GAAP,
GAAP.
GAAP, generally accepted accounting practices, they lost something like 300 million. But when you kind of dig into that, a big chunk of that 300 and some odd million is something like 250 million write down in the value of their company as a whole. So no actual money was lost in this, but they essentially wrote down the value of the C Micro and again ATI, which that was 2005, 2006 when that happened. They're still writing that down. So thanks Canadian dollar going down to 81 cents. That probably also didn't help.
No,
but
not.
A lot of the money is on paper. If we start looking at actual monetary losses of like money out of the bank, they're around 30 to 50 million, which is still a pretty good chunk of change, but it's not the third of a billion that we're talking about. So take that as you will. They're in a strange spot. They don't have new GPUs coming out last quarter and this quarter. That hurt them bad. They didn't have new APUs coming out last quarter and I think this quarter. So if they can hang on, get some decent throughput. I mean, they can survive a 15% downturn because they also let go of a lot of people, and that was another big chunk of their loss last quarter is severance packages and whatnot for people that they let go. So it's going to be interesting to see where AMD heads from here. I like Lisa Su. I like what she's doing. What?
Correct me if I'm wrong as usual, but they're still seeing a loss on Xbones and PlayStations at this point now.
I wouldn't say
Would they not be?
No, not at all. Because essentially, Sony and Microsoft paid them to do the development, and then Sony and Microsoft take the design, go to a fab of their choice, and pay the fab to make the chips.
Right.
And every chip that comes off the line, a royalty goes to AMD.
Yeah.
So they were paid for the development, and then they get a royalty for every chip. And so it's not a loss producing.
So they're not in the red
division.
on that still.
As far as I know, but
Okay.
are they designing anything new right now? Are they paying all their guys to stay on, or are they paying the guys to go into reassign them to a different group that's designing something? Do they have new design wins coming in that they're actually working on and getting paid for? So these are questions we don't know. There's not enough granularity in the way that AMD reports their finances that we could kind of dig down without getting somebody on the side to talk.
On the side.
On the side.
All right, now we will get to our hardware software picks of the week. And mine is not really software or hardware. I guess it's a service. It's software as a service. I'll go with that.
Okay.
This is the capability that you have as an individual to go sleep at somebody else's house whenever you want.
Excuse me?
You heard me.
No, I'm not sure.
And it
I
has
heard
these
you.
creepy animations on their website of other people who might currently be sitting in your home when you don't know about it. This is Airbnb. This has been around for a long time. It's not new. Does the B&B stand for bed and breakfast? Did it originally?
Yes.
Okay. And now it's
What
just
did you
kinda-
think it stood for?
I don't know because it's
What
not
did you do
really-
in this place?
Well,
Butternut brownies.
there you go. That works.
So what's the idea here? Like, what
So
do you?
the idea is, I mean, it's you really don't know what this is. So you put your house up as an Airbnb, like if you're going to be out of town for a month or you have an extra place.
Okay.
It's like peer-to-peer renting of houses.
Okay.
Or condos or apartments or whatever.
Sure.
So we went to Montreal this weekend with some friends, and we looked on Airbnb. We found a condo in a good district that we could rent from a woman that was going to be out of town, or that place is only available for rent. I don't really know.
How do you get the key?
Well, it's up to that's like individual, right? So
a lockbox
some
or
places will
something?
have a lockbox.
They leave it somewhere.
She actually was in town, right? So she just met us there at the door, and she said it's open. The keys will be inside. I'll be down, in an hour, and give you a tour and show you what everything is.
Okay.
And it was relatively inexpensive, especially considering where we were at. Montreal tends to be a pretty expensive city.
This is kind of only good if it's an empty house, right?
There are actually Airbnbs where, like in Manhattan, where space is at a premium, where you could rent a bedroom of an apartment
Or a couch.
Yep.
or a couch.
Or a couch.
Yeah.
Hopefully, while you're there,
What do you mean?
also in the house. I mean,
Sometimes it will be
Yes, no,
while
you can get a discount rate if you're cohabiting with the
Correct.
owner.
Yeah. Okay.
right. So it's either way. So it's basically like, for me, it was like renting a condo and going on vacation.
Yeah.
Right. For some people, it may be renting it for a month at a time. I want to stay in that bedroom, but I don't want to sign a lease or whatever. Right.
Sure.
And then you can put your own house up there. Posting pictures, and there's a review process and all that. And I have seen lots of people use Airbnb, but it always kind of weirded me out a little bit to stay at somebody else's house.
Yeah. That's
Right.
weird to me.
But like
You should see what I did to their sheets.
this one was more set up. Like it was very clear that this place was a permanent rental. Like it was
Sure.
she wasn't living there sometimes or whatever. Right. So she said, the cleaning person will be here on Sunday unless you want her to wait and come on Monday, let me know, all this other kind of stuff. So
Just like a typical condo kind of
yeah.
thing.
Like you were staying at a thing. So Airbnb, it's been around for a while. Chances are everybody's already heard of it except for Allyn. But I thought it was really handy, and I'm sure there are lots of people that have bad experiences. Who was it? What's his face? Somebody tried to do one in Las Vegas. Austin Evans
During CES?
tried to rent something during CES, like off strip, right?
Okay.
And he went in. It was basically a porn studio, like where there were
Awesome.
Well, you said Las
studio
Vegas.
I
lights.
thought
in
you said you
every
had a
bedroom.
bad time.
Well, there weren't porn people in it. It was just there had been porn shot there. Like there were lights
There's
in
been
every.
porn shot everywhere in
There were
Las Vegas.
There was one studio light in every bedroom.
Like, are we talking the
Right,
bedroom's still
and
a
there was
little
no
slippery
furniture.
here?
But there are so many different
Did he-
Airbnbs. Which one did you say it was?
Did he bring his UV light at least? I think that's
Round
that's
beds that rotated, that type of thing.
Mirrors on the ceilings.
Yeah. So that's Airbnb.
pizza delivery surface door.
Yeah. Jeremy, what do you got for me?
Well, I'll confirm you because I used it in Scotland. It was brilliant and probably a quarter of the price I would have paid for
Yeah.
a crap little hotel room.
We paid $1,300 for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 3 nights of a 3-bedroom
Condo. Nice condo.
in
Yeah.
a really good part of Montreal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right. Which
so
is
a hotel room would probably run you $300-400 a night per room, easy.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So it worked out. Anyway,
Anywho, I went for hardware. One of the hard things about figuring out this Internet of Things and automating your home is your sensors are going to need power. And this sucks because now your little tiny sensor has a big-ass battery attached to it, or you got to remember to change batteries all the time.
Yep.
So ran across this N-Ocean sensor kit, which can talk with Raspberry Pi. So pretty easy to use. And it is able to charge through either ambient light or kinetic energy. So no battery, just a little tiny friggin' cap and a sensor and a light collector. So you can put it up. The ones that I saw were like a temperature sensor, a magnet switch. And you can program it. If you know Pi, you can program it totally and completely easily. This makes, hacking your home a little bit easier and a little bit more fun. And for $80, not stupidly expensive.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Element 14 community.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Nice.
Ken's wheels are turning. Josh?
Yeah, Element
Me?
14 has sick amounts of stuff for sale. It's like old Texas Instruments or Radio Shack.
Nice. What did I...
Since?
You were snorting something, weren't you?
What did the
I was. You know what? The neat thing, I've talked about pfSense in the past because pfSense is kind of cool and it's kind of awesome and it works really well. Well, you can set up the snort package. There's nothing better than snorting on the pfSense. Essentially, it is a detection of intrusion package that you have that thing running on a decently configured pfSense server, and it goes out to the internet. I think it shows a lot of the bad things that happened within the last 30 days.
Oh, no.
But yeah, intrusion detection for free.
So
Like
is this,
enterprise.
is this saving? Is this like saving like a rolling buffer? Saves everything that comes through. That kind of snort
It might be.
might be.
I need to read more about it. We're about to implement it on our enterprise. Our company, new place that I'm being at.
What's cool?
Good words.
If it does have that option,
Keep writing those articles for me. Damn it.
Yeah.
if it does have that sort of an option where you can control how much it writes to, like I would recommend throwing like a small RAID at that thing.
Yeah.
That way
No,
you have
it doesn't do it that way. Essentially, it goes to the internet and it's almost like definitions, but not. I mean, there's update the intrusion package of threats and things that you would expect to see, and then it reacts to that because a lot of pfSense machines are essentially just really low end servers that can do a lot of interesting things. So that's essentially what it is. I mean, it'll tell you if somebody's trying to hammer that way in one way or the other.
So for those that don't know what the heck any of us are talking about right now,
I don't.
for the past few seconds, a snort box is basically just a box that you put in line between your internet connection or whatever your outside the business connection is, between that and everything on your intranet.
Okay.
Right? And so that's your internet has to go through that box,
Yep.
right? And the idea is it basically acts like, well, it could be a lot of different things. It could be a firewall, it could be whatever. But the cool thing you can really do with it is make it sort of an IDS thing, which is like antivirus for a network connection. So it doesn't catch like, it might not be intelligent enough to catch like the entire executable file that you just downloaded and that has a virus, but it'll catch the stuff that's like, DDoS type things, like people trying to look for open ports on systems, like that sort of thing, right? Just stuff coming across the wire. And if you already have something like that there, you can go as far as to just capture, like if you have enough like buffer space on hard drives, you can just tell it, well, look, just save everything to disk as much as you could fill disk. And the idea is you could have days or potentially weeks worth of all the traffic that went in and out of your network, right?
I don't want any of this stuff on my network.
Well, so like, say you do get hacked, you could actually go back and see,
okay.
exactly what happened. And you can kind of retrace the steps of, and you can figure out exactly what made it off of your network and that sort of thing, right?
And plus, snort sounds good.
Snort, yeah.
Well,
I'm going to pass that to my snort server.
Snort's just a simple piece of software that's meant to just like intercept that stuff and like log it and just save it out to disk, basically.
But the logs aren't going to be anywhere near like say Wireshark options. They're going to be fairly limited, I think.
Yeah,
on this.
they're really just dump everything.
Yeah.
And then you'll lay something on top of that, like the piece of software Josh is talking about, that'll, has definitions it could pull from the internet and it can look at the snort
to try
traffic.
to find.
and see, hey,
Figure
I
out what
saw
it
something
is.
fishy come in
Yeah.
over here, you know. Yeah.
All right, Alan, what's yours?
So I'm toying around at home with trying to get all of my large media and stuff just on its own NAS, on its own, you know, trying to stick with a Windows type NAS machine.
Sure.
Which means now I have the potential of that little thing that happens to you when you go to delete a file and it's on a network share, which actually happens to us at the office too, right? You delete it, it's gone, right?
Yeah.
Like it doesn't go to the recycle bin.
If you
on the
accidentally
network
delete
machine.
it, it's deleted.
Yeah, if you just
And that's the only way they'll ever learn.
well, it's true. It's true.
It just happened with a neighbor
I mean,
here
that's
recently.
kind of a pain in the butt sometimes. Like sometimes you actually want to have a share that the files that you delete do go to the recycle bin, and it turns out that's actually a thing.
Oh, okay.
But it normally only applies to like if you had a Windows environment where you were using servers and Active Directory and like actual profiles and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if your profile was on the network share, right? Somehow when you delete stuff there, it goes to a recycle bin
Where's the recycle bin at?
on your local system. So it actually would have to pull the file
It's
over the
actually
network.
copying it to your
It
system.
basically like moves it over to your local system and puts it in the recycle bin locally, right?
Okay.
So it's kind of, cumbersome that way, but at least it's going somewhere other than just poof, right? Well, this guy did some digging on this in this post here, and he initially figured out like there's an initial post, but then he has like some amplifying information in this post here, which is only a few months ago on Windows IT Pro. And he shows you can go into the registry and you can kind of append additional directories in this specific registry subkey that talks about recycle bins of like networked locations, right? So, or like what the recycle bin attaches to, if you will, right? So if you had a roaming profile, there would be some entries in your registry saying, hey, if you delete something from this particular network path, put it in the recycle bin instead. Right? Don't make it just go poof. And so he figured out how to add his own, you can just basically, if your mapped network drive was the Z drive, you can just add the Z drive
Right.
on that. Has to be per system though.
Sure.
So for like every system in your house, if you really knew what you were doing with the home network, you can make like a.
So this is not just a checkbox enable.
It's not a checkbox thing.
Enable recycle bin on network drives.
No, but I was snooping around when you posted it because that's kind of neat. And in the notes, he says he was actually pushing this via group policy,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is spiffy.
So if you know what you're doing and you actually have like profiles on your home network, you actually have like that much of a small business style, right? You could just set that up in as part of like your Active Directory setup.
How much do you have to hate yourself to run Active Directory in your own house?
I wouldn't go that far myself. I would just do this registry thing because once you figure out how to set it up, he actually gives you like pretty much what the setup is. There's just a registry, dump right there in the middle of that article, like the first beginning of it.
Yeah.
And it's just a couple of keys.
Just create a .reg file.
Yeah, you could basically, if you're mapping it to like the Z drive everywhere, you could just make a single
does it still
.reg.
copy it to your local machine?
Yeah, if you deleted a big file, it would actually
So
have
if
to.
I was over there and I deleted a 2 terabyte or a 24 gigabyte video file off of the
It
network,
would try
to copy it to my local drive.
If it was big enough. So like this default setup is a 50 gig recycle bin,
Okay,
right? You can make it larger,
that seems plenty.
but
I wonder
you know,
if by doing that, it would say that this file is too large for the recycle bin. Are you sure you want to delete it?
it probably would.
Because that would be a nice fail-safe
Yeah,
right
it'd be
there.
enough
I mean,
for
it
me,
should
actually.
act just as if
Well,
it was a
fair enough.
local. It's just as if like you're deleting stuff from your local drive. It's using the same system.
Yeah.
It's still the same recycle bin thing, right? I
Windows
really,
is so
I really
easy,
like that
this is all you
idea.
gotta do.
I don't understand why they haven't just made it an easier thing. Like we're
Because it's the only way they'll learn is when we have to restore it from tape.
well. So here's the thing, though. Like Synology NASs, and even we're testing a Thecus NAS, and I found the
have
option
a
in there too.
local-
They have a recycle bin folder you can turn on. It's always default off for some reason, but you can turn it on, and it will capture anything that still gets deleted and put it in a recycle bin folder on the NAS.
That's a NAS feature, not a Windows
It's a
feature.
NAS feature, right?
Okay.
So you'd have to go into
Is there
the
some
recycle bin folder.
function that I don't understand to why you would have originally wanted it to be the case where if you delete something on a network drive, it's just automatically gone?
Because you don't want it to have to copy back across the network to your...
Yeah.
Well, but why they wouldn't put a recycle bin on?
Because
that
it would have,
network
it's a
drive?
No.
permissions thing. It'd have to be like per user, and if you deleted something, you didn't have access to that. Or like I could go into undelete something that you deleted that only you had permission to initially.
Well,
It's a big permissions
yeah,
mess.
I guess.
Oh,
right?
it's a nightmare,
It's-
Ryan. That would just
yeah.
be insane.
You basically need a recycle bin
I
for
thought
every
smart
single
people
user.
made operating systems.
Well-
Oh, God, no.
Just figure it out.
Have
What
you ever
gave you
used an
that
operating
idea?
system?
I think with Windows 10, they really need to figure that out, though. Like, they need to come up with something. Because, like,
Submit a ticket on the whatever.
I'm going to now. Actually, now that I'm thinking about
Just make it one line. Network
us
drive.
network recycle bin,
network
please.
Recycle bins.
it, please. Now, very much.
Okay, thanks, bye.
Yes.
I bet they have a spam filter for that.
Just detects for network, recycle, delete. It
You know-
just removes it.
It's
Archive.
worth just browsing the feedback thing if you're playing with Windows 10. Like, hit start and type in feedback and like launch that little app thing that comes up. It's worth digging around in there because there's some stuff that like other people can upvote.
Oh, really?
Like you can basically me too, like something.
Yeah.
So if you see something that's like, yeah, we really need that, you could just me too it and get the numbers higher.
Minesweeper. Bring it back, damn it.
Well, I think
Minesweeper.
I think it's there.
Vote that one up.
Isn't it there?
I have no idea.
I think it's there.
I thought they took it
Well,
out.
yeah, we'll give you Windows 10 for free, but if you want the Minesweeper edition,
Then you got to pay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Minesweeper's not. it
And
doesn't
what was
come
that?
default.
Texas Hold'em Deluxe?
Oh, you have to.
Windows
about
7
pinball?
Premium?
Pinball.
Suck. All right, guys, we're going to end the show. Thank you for joining us. It's been a wonderful week. Don't forget tomorrow, if you're watching us live, tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, we're going to have a live stream with NVIDIA, with NVIDIA's Tom Petersen. We're talking about a new GeForce GTX graphics card. We're going to give away some of those unnamed GeForce GTX graphics cards, so you want to be here and be a part of that. If you're watching this after the fact, if it's early enough, maybe you can still make it. If not, sorry, check back next time. Go to PCPer.com/subscribe and sign up for that mailing list so you don't miss out on such cool, awesome things. Again, thanks to everybody who used hashtag JoshTech. I think it was a huge success. We want to get one more comment up here on the on the screen for us. Let's see. Josh Tech bought Cortana Azun for Valentine's Day.
Very nice.
Very nice, Josh. That's really nice
Oh.
of you. Yeah. It was $6.
Sad
on eBay,
part is
but-
it was yours, Ryan.
You know, the best part, it was running on NVIDIA Silicon.
That's right, it was.
The
It was
Tegra
It was the
one.
very first
That's true.
Tegra SoC.
You have
That's
a-
why I got one, because on the... actually, I had a second one, because I
Yeah.
had bought one, and then they sent one out that had, like, etched in, powered by NVIDIA,
Yeah.
or something like that on the back.
It's still somewhere around here.
It's still somewhere around here. It's a good collector's item, I think.
Yeah.
All right, we'll be back next time, guys. PCPer.com/podcast. Find us there. Thanks for everybody who joined us live. Goodbye, good night.
See ya.
Good night.